Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Tenpenny Parks was a game I was really excited about. It's very rare that I get, despite buying so many games, it's rare that I get super excited about a game. And this is one that I felt like the hype was kind of going on for me. That was kind of excited about. It had a great art look to it. It has a theme park theme to it, which I will buy pretty much any theme park themed game. And so it had a few things going for it that I was excited about. I like the polyomino thing. I like worker placement. But there are some things that kind of held the game back for me a little bit. It's super light. The actions kind of seem redundant. Clear this, or I want to buy more land. What is it I want to do? The rides can't be next to each other. I don't have a lot of choice in what rides to get because you only can do what's on top of the deck. So I can't go, man, I really need something small. If everything out is big, then I'm kind of stuck there, and I kind of need to replan things on the fly. I didn't feel like there was a lot of strategy in the game. It's play to the goal cards. Every point matters, because I think this game artificially keeps the score close. So you really need to make every point matter, and every action needs to matter. With that said, I don't feel like there's a way to come back in the game. There aren't like these big moves you can kind of play towards. You need to generate as much income as possible at the beginning. I think that's just the way it's going to have to be, because without income, you're not buying or doing anything. You can't just buy a big ride at the beginning. You really need to get that income infrastructure going and know when to turn it on in order to start generating points more than what you're doing. But at the same time, you're constantly getting points. Now, there was a game I played with my wife where I felt like she was really, really far ahead. Like, she was really far ahead, and ended up being a 4-point difference in the game. And she was destroying me, making better decisions, and I felt like it wasn't reflected in the points. I was kind of discouraged at first because I thought she was going to run away with it. Then at the end, I was a little bit discouraged that she should have ran away with it and perhaps didn't. And I wonder if the game was like rubber banding us or keeping us close. There aren't a lot of points to score. And for the most part, most of what you're doing is going to score points, because everything you do is in service of building those rides to generate ad points, or to get points just for building them in general. And building the bigger rides are going to give you bigger points, which would cause you to take up more space, etc., which makes you buy more expansions or clear more trees. But there's an aspect to it. And I think it's very difficult to come back in this game. I even hesitate to say maybe the game probably had a runaway leader problem, but the points are so close that it keeps you in it. So I don't know how I feel about that. I do feel like it plays better with more players. I feel like it definitely opens up some different things. You can block a little bit better, and you're fighting over those trees that you're going down, the paths, a little bit better. I think with more people, it becomes a little bit more congested. And if somebody's getting like all 3 of those bonuses, it's going to be very, very, very powerful. I felt like the carnival, the little carousel, was cool to look at, but when you're looking at it from across the table, it was kind of hard to see. And at one point, we just ended up taking it off just to make it more user-friendly. But I like the approach they made to it. It was very nice. What do I like about this game? It's a light game. It moves fairly quickly. You're not going to be sitting around a lot. You definitely can play this with your family. You definitely can open this up before you play a different game. This could be a great opener. Maybe that's quite a filler, but definitely an opener. I like the aspect of the worker placement of getting the rides and trying to fit them in where you want. You can't always get every bonus on the board necessarily. You're going to have to plan that out. I don't even know if that's the best route, but definitely you could take it. When I was done, I felt like I had a pretty cool theme park. I felt like I built a pretty neat theme park in general. The game felt very similar to me. It felt a lot like Steam Park, with the real time taken out and just putting a worker placement in. That's going to excite a lot of people. People are going to like that, because a lot of people don't like the real time, but you're building a little theme park, and it moves rather quickly. So, in all respects, this is going to be a keeper for me. It's something I need to temper my expectations a little bit. It wasn't as great as I was hoping it would be, but it definitely hits a sweet spot. I think if I give it like a month to breathe, I will like the game a little bit more. I'll go in thinking it's something that it is rather than something it isn't. I was hoping for something a little bit more grandiose, and instead I got a little smaller game, smaller package, smaller playtime, and a little easier to play. And for that, I applaud it. I think that's a definite plus for it. For me, it's going to be a keeper, but just barely, to be honest. So here's Tenpenny Parks. First thing you notice is the Vincent Dutrait artwork. It has an old-timey feel to it. I think that looks like a very beautiful box. This thing is packed full of things. You're going to get a little catalog here. I always like these because later on, 5 years down the road, I like to see what was out. and what was coming out. Everything in here is really nice cardboard. So these are the rides, or some of the rides you'll be building through the game. They're polyominoes, so they come in different shapes, but they have artwork on it. One side will have the name of the ride and the artwork, and the other side is just the artwork. So you can use whatever side that you prefer. These will come in different colors and shapes, but they always have the icons that you're looking for on them. You're going to get some cardboard monies. You're going to get 1s and 3s. Same thing with the victory points. Real nice, chunky victory point here on 1s and 5s. The trees in the game are going to be these little wooden pieces cut up to be like firs or Christmas trees that you would find in the forest. Everybody's going to get 3 workers and some wood here. And these little chits. Now, these little chits right here, which will make up the stands that you're going to make, I find these to be really small. And I find the icons on them to be very difficult to see, especially when you're trying to get them from across the board. Can you even see those on there? That's a heart and a dollar. It's very difficult to see these. I mean, they're cute and they fit on the board just fine, but I wish the icons on them could be a little bit bigger. Here are the cards in the game. You're going to get some player aids that the people can use. These will be your goal cards. Everybody's going to get 3 of these. You'll choose 2. They'll just give you ways to score points. And then these are the rides. What's kind of cool about these is, let me give you one here. So here's the Mammoth Valley. Here's the price, the victory points on them, the icons that you're going to get. Tells you what's on the back of the card for the ads, and the polynomial shape here. Then when you flip them over, use this side, victory points at the end of the game, and how much the ads are. Very, very cool. I think it works very, very well in this game. So these will be the extra pieces that you can add on. Very nice cardboard. They're double-sided. These will be the boards that you start with. They all have same on one side and then unique on the other side. Now you're going to build this little contraption. It's really just a spinner. This on top is all for show. The problem I have for this, if I'm sitting on this side, as you can see here, I can't see anything on this. So we ended up taking this off during gameplay because I couldn't see it all the way around it if I was sitting down at the table. I had to like lean over and look. So cool, it looks like a carousel, but not very functional in our mind. You're going to get the shovel, which you'll be fighting over within the game. And then you're going to have a rulebook, which we'll look at in a few minutes, and a board. The board is fairly standard here, I think. It's going to have some tracks on it down here, the number of rounds, and then this will be the action selection part of it, which we'll look at. I think it works fine. It's a little small, but that's okay, I think, for this game because you're not utilizing the board all that much. Here's the rulebook for Tenpenny Parks with the artwork from the box. You're going to have the objective and a little bit of story here. Picture of all the components and a carousel of the assembly right here. Then you are going to have a picture of setup, which is fantastic. Numbers going everywhere. I was able to set this up very, very easily. Then you're going to jump into the game. I wish there would have been an overview of the steps here, but I guess you do have your player aid that will tell you the final scoring and an overview. So maybe they didn't need it in the rulebook as much because it's fairly simple. Just start playing and follow along. It tells you what each of the actions do. You have the bonuses over here, how those are going to work. Those are also printed on the board. Advertising step, cleanup, game in. Very simple game. It's a very light game. On the back, you're going to have the rules for the solo. This is what the game will look like set up. You're going to play 5 rounds of the game. At the end of 5, you tally up who has the most points. Each person will have a marker on the track. You'll put the cards around the board, and then +2 will go on the yellow side. First thing you're going to do each round is get income. You're always going to get $3 plus any income from symbols like this. I know it's very hard to see. It's very hard to see when you're playing too. So you'll get your income each round. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to take actions. Everybody's going to have usually 3 workers per round that you're going to place out on the board. You're going to have a place over here, this spot, if you were to put a worker on it, the contractor. He is going to let you choose one of the 4 face-up little stands that you can have, and I'll show you how those go. This person right here, the arborist, allows you to take 2 trees off your location. So what's going to happen is each player is going to have one of these boards, and every spot like this is going to have a tree on it when you start the game. So the arborist is clearly just going to let you take 2 trees anywhere off the board you want to, and you put them back in the supply, and that clears out the way that you have. If you were to place with the contractor, get one of these, you can just place them anywhere you want on the board. If you cover up one of these spaces, you'll get the listed under it. So either $2 or move up one of these tracks. This is a wild move up any track you want. Then you also have this place right here, the banker. He clearly just gives you $2. You gain your $2 for doing nothing, and you're welcome. Now, this space over here, the realtor, you will have to pay $3 back to the supply. Then you will gain one of these, and you can situate it either way you want on either side of your park. So it could go over here like this, it could go like this, it could go on this side, whatever you want, and this gives you more space to build on. The privilege of doing that costs $3. So that's the 4 spots that are printed on the board. As many people can go to those locations as they want. It does not matter. Those 4 listed positions. Now, the other positions on the board are how you gain rides. If you look here on the carousel, there'll be a 0, 0, -1, -2, +2, +1 that is listed on there. So you add that to the cost, and only one person can go to each of these locations per round. So you look here, this will cost you $7. It has no bonus. If I were to buy this one, it would normally cost $7, but I get a -1, so it will only cost me $6. I would then go up the tracks. In this case, if I were to buy the Labyrinth, I would move up twice on this track and one on the Heart. Then I would take this polyomino shape, the Labyrinth. I would take the Labyrinth, and then I could place it anywhere on here. Now, I didn't place it, I didn't cover up those 2 hearts, but if I'd placed it here, I would cover those 2 hearts, and I can move up 2 more on this track. The only trick to this is you can't place a tree if it's in your way, and I cannot place it next to anything else. So if I had something like this, I could not place it here because I already had a ride next to it. There has to be at least 1 space away from any other ride, so it can't clog up your park. You have to have a place to walk around. Then I would take the card, flip it over in front of me, and I'd be able to take my next action. So after everybody has used all of their workers, you move on to the 3rd phase. The 3rd phase is you're going to look at these tracks here. So let's say at the end we end up with something like this. On the top track, I can move back a space, and then I could take this extra worker, and the next round I have 4 workers to play instead of 3. If I didn't want to do that, I can simply just take a victory point. Same thing's going to happen in the I could go back a space and take the shovel. What the shovel's going to let me do is during cleanup, I can move this around anywhere I want, adding and subtracting to that. This will also let me be first player for the next round. If I don't want to move back and grab the shovel, once again, I can just take a victory point. At this bottom one, I can go back 1 spot, and I can gain $3. If I choose to not do that, I can simply take a victory point. The next step is step 4. For all of the rides you build, you can advertise for them. So this one says, if I give up $3, I gain 3 victory points. And each of these rides may do something different. This one says give up 3 for 2 victory points. Give up $2 for 2 victory points. Give up $4 for 3 victory points. It should be noted that the yellow ones actually give you income. So this one will give me $2 at this point in the round. This one gives me an extra $2 at the end of the round. So you can actually gain money from getting the yellow ones. At the end of the round marker will go down. You'll get rid of all of the little sponsors that you had at concession stands and put 4 new ones out. You'll rotate the carousel by anybody who has the shovel, and then you're ready to play the next round. After 5 rounds, you will score up to see who has scored the most points. At the beginning of the game, everybody's given 3 gold cards, which you're allowed to keep 2, and these will give you ways to score. In the game with at least 3 attractions built on expansion. In the game with at least 2 fantasy attractions. In the game with emotion discs for the Salon to Thrill track. So these will just give you additional ways to score the points. Whoever scores the most points is the winner of the game. Who should buy this game? Anybody looking for a theme park game. If you like theme parks, I think you're going to like this one. If you like Steam Park and you didn't like the real time, check this one out. Very similar. It takes that out as worker placement. If you're looking for a lighter game, something that you just kind of play down, probably play this about a half an hour. I think that it works in that respect. You like the artwork on it. All that kind of comes into a package. It's going to play well for you. For me, it's going to be a keeper.